What's something you happily do that others would think is the grossest thing ever? I know picking your nose is one people do find disgusting, but it is just satisfying getting that freaking budger or itch. Jesus, when you pull one of those stagons out that's solid and taken the form of your entire sinus cavity, you know, the one that feels like it's tugging on the back of your eyeball as you try to dig it all out in a single chunk. Yeah, that's the crap. This is disgusting to admit, but the last time I flew a long-haul international flight, the air is so dry inside the plane that I could feel a sizable staghorn up my nose. I went to the bathroom and retrieved it. My god. If airport security would have known the size of the weapon that pulled out of my nasal passage, they never would have let me on the plane. I have an aunt who eats ketchup on everything. 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 On corn on the cob. As salad dressing. Ketchup sandwiches. She warms it in the microwave and pours it over ice cream. I've watched her squirt ketchup on a slice of watermelon, dip apple slices in it, and use it instead of tomato sauce on pizzas. The worst is her ketchup soup, which is a can of Campbell's tomato soup, ketchup, and sliced onions. The more repulsed her audience becomes, the more gleefully she scarfs it down. Blech. When I moved into a new apartment with my roomie, a good buddy of mine, we both noticed a smell coming from the shower. I figured the previous people didn't clean the drain when they moved. Tried just pouring some cleaning down there, didn't work. So I had enough. I stripped to my undies, put on the pink rubber gloves I got from my mother and double layered 2 plastic bags. There I was, a half-naked 23-year-old man, bit too hairy and chubby, with his arm down the drain pulling out hair and other unpleasantries that I figured must have been there for years. Black sludge and the most rotten smell ever. My roomie came home from uni during my cleaning and got a look and smell. His face literally changed color. While I noticed the smell and didn't like it, I didn't recoil like that. It had to be done. So yay, after that incident I'm due doing the disgusting work. He washes the dishes and crap like that more, and I do the bigger projects. There is value in people like you, so thank you. You're like the cadaver dissecting man, doing the gross stuff for the greater good. Thanks. I hope I will be useful come the zombies. I have to add that I had some experience beforehand. My father's a teacher in butchery, so you get used to guts and what's contained in them. People can be quite squeamish about that. When I was young, I also did quite a bit of farm work for my grandfather on his old farm before they moved into the city. Cleaning the sties gave a bit of tolerance from an early age. I'm a dog walker. On multiple occasions I have walked into a client's home and came upon some sort of situation created by the dog. Either watery poop everywhere, or trash all over their apartment, or vomit all over the floor or pee, or whatever. I always clean it up. I couldn't leave the dog in a messy situation. It just wouldn't sit well with me. I've talked to other walkers and they all say that that's not their job, and they let their clients know about the mess, but don't clean it up. I could not do that. It almost seems like neglect to me. I clean up the mess and let the client know, and they are always grateful and apologetic. I would happily clean up a dog's mess, because it allows me peace of mind knowing the dog isn't sitting in some disgusting space for the rest of the day. What a bro. And also from a good business perspective, I bet you get tips and recommendations for cleaning that crap. Or at least not complaints from people who say you didn't make it to my dog in time, so he crap everywhere. If someone is having issues trying to get their contacts out, I'll do it for them. I used to work for an optician teaching people how to get them in and out, so it's normal for me. Other friends freak the hell out at the thought of going near someone's eyeball. I would freak out being near somebody else's eye, but I've worn contacts since I was 11, and I have no qualms digging around my eye to get them out, especially if it's one that is creating an inferno due to a speck of dust or something. I think I've been wearing them for 13 years or so. If it's giving me pain, that's an easy search and remove. My least favorite though is when it's slid off to the side, but you don't know exactly where it is, so you're basically just playing a game of hide and seek on your eyeball. Risky business there. I've helped literally hundreds of very wasted people through their puke-filled evening. I can't count the number of times people have thrown up right on me, but it always really bothered me to see people abandoned by their friends at a party while they're obviously hitting the edge of the abyss. I've carried people to the toilet. I've cleaned puke off of every type of furniture. I've done laundry for people while they wait in the tub. I've caught vomit in my bare hands. I never saw it as a big deal. Somebody died just about every semester at my school from some stupid drinking accident. I didn't want to be one of the fake idiots standing at a candlelight vigil talking about how nobody saw it coming, and there was nothing we could do. Bish, put a finger down her throat and slap her awake till she drinks some water. It's not that hard, and they'll thank you in the morning, when they're not flipping dead. I got roofied about a year ago, and could not stop vomiting. Had no idea where I was, and it took an hour for my husband to get through the snow to come get me. An acquaintance held back my hair, cleaned up my vomit from all over the bar, explained to the bartender so I didn't get thrown out, and stayed with me in the women's bathroom so I didn't choke on my own vomit. All of my other friends just thought I was wasted, despite only having 2 glasses of champagne, and left. Travis, if you're reading this, I'll never forget what you did for me that night. You're the real G, and I'm glad you're my friend. I used to be a bouncer and saw a girl after she had been roofied. Her color was all sorts of wrong, like a pink/gray. Stay vigilant out there and take care of each other. I'm an aspiring medical student and have spent hundreds of hours in cadaver dissection labs through various opportunities, class, work, assistant teaching. I basically do the work of taking a donor's body, graciously donated for the good of educating future health professionals, and removing skin, fat, and connective tissue, so that the donor can be a useful teaching tool. I've been compared to a human butcher by colleges outside of my field, but I'm proud of the work I do. Being a good prosector/dissector is truly an art and takes a lot of time and patience to do it well. The human body is fascinating as anatomical anomalies happen more often than you would expect, and being able to present the body and its variation in the best way possible is something I strive for. I also understand that it is definitely not for everyone, as the idea of removing tissue from deceased humans can be quite unsettling. It's just shock factor, as you say. My cousin is in med school at the moment and recently had a go on his first cadaver. He had a wobble, but he managed and explained that once he started recognizing things on the body from his books and stuff, the feelings went away. Like he could look at it calmly through a professional lens. Wait until the end of the year. Our cadavers were fixed with preservatives, but by the end of anatomy class they were rank and all sorts of nasty fluids were pooling in various areas. It gets legit gross. Help a disabled or elderly unwell person clean themselves up after an accident. So many people say stuff like I could never do that ! 1! But in my head, when you walk through the door into a location where you're responsible for someone else's care, the idea of I or me goes out the window, and you exist only to improve others' quality of life. Whether you believe you could do it or not doesn't matter. That's called professionalism, and it's sadly missing from too many caregivers in healthcare. Although now that I think about it, you could be one of those mythical loving children that I always miss in the hospital. Either way, we need more people like you. It's also called empathy and compassion. You can be a right jid and still be professional. It takes a different kind of person to be compassionate and empathic. My mother is one of those people. Thought it best to whip up a throwaway for this one. I'm a woman, and I pass a lot of clots when I'm on my period, and sometimes they're kind of big. If I pass a large clot, I'll usually go to the bathroom, collect the clot, and eat it. I don't swallow it whole, but I don't really chew it either. The clots usually have the consistency of jelly. I use my tongue to push/squish it between my teeth until it sort of disintegrates, swallowing it little by little. There's usually a piece of flesh that the clot was surrounding, and I chew on it for a while, then swallow it. There's not really a reason I do this. Nothing sexual, not out of hunger or anything like that. I don't know that I have an explanation for it. I've been doing it for years. I've been awake for 5 damn minutes and already need to nope the F out of Reddit for the day. This is where we all should have stopped reading. I clean up trauma/crime scenes and homes belonging to hoarders. Objectively, it is gross and horrific. Subjectively, I find it fascinating and satisfying, and at the end of the day or days, I know I've helped someone get through some of the most stressful, traumatic, and saddening time of their lives. People like you are unsung heroes. My mom and dad had to clean my brother's room up after he put an SKS round through his head. Small town, no one else to do it. I was a teen and didn't have it in me to help. But even if it was just me, I would torch the place and left town. You are right. Usually it's one of the worst moments in someone's life. Not having to deal with that probably would have helped my mom and dad out in the long run. Glad you didn't become involved. I cleaned up the room where my dad killed himself. Coroner took the body and left the rest. It was just me and my mom couldn't do it, and it was out in the country 30 years ago, and it was the most messed up thing I've ever had to do. Rip the bloody carpet out alone with my bare hands. Really good you didn't have the experience. Just the loss of your brother is more than enough. Pedicures. I worked in a nail salon for about 5 years, and when I mention that the bulk of what I did was pedicures, everyone I've ever told goes, "Oh, I could never do that." But, to me, my favorite ones were often the grossest, the elderly. Often, elderly women can't take care of their feet, and so without a trip to the doctors from time to time they can get massively neglected. These women were the most appreciative of my work and less scrutinizing. Working in the beauty profession has incredibly particular clients. They also usually tipped fairly well, but that was just a bonus. To me, the little old ladies who were just happy to have someone take care of their feet for them made me happier than any $5 tip could.